Hi. Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us and hope you're staying well and safe and warm. Lots of, so many folks around are getting like very sick. Lots of illnesses going around right now. Uh, and so tonight, inspired by an article from a Zen priest, teacher, and author named Darlene Cohen. Darlene died in 2011 from cancer, uh, but she's written 4 books, and she's very well known for her teachings on pain. She lived with rheumatoid arthritis and very crippling pain. And so one of her books is called Arthritis, Stop Suffering, Start Moving. And it's everyday exercises for your body and mind. But she wrote another one called Finding a Joyful Life in the Heart of Pain. Another one, Turning Suffering Inside Out. And this other one who is not busy, the one who is not busy. Yeah. So um, I'll put the link to her 4 books on thriftbooks.com, a lovely place to buy used books. And so her link is down below in the YouTube recording. So check out her work if you haven't seen it before. And then also down below, there's a link to a website called sufferingandDelight.org. Very excellent title. And this is a group of folks that they call it the Suffering and Delight Institute, and they help people with chronic pain and illness create lives worth living right in the midst of their suffering. And from what I can see, it looks like this whole institute came together to further the teachings of Darlene Cohen, for people living with pain in really supporting through everyday life. And on that website, there's a whole bunch of articles from her books and talks and wonderful stuff. So check out those links if you're interested, because even if you're not in pain right now, odds are pretty good. It's coming. Aging, sickness, and death. These are some of 3 of the 4 heavenly messengers that the Buddha were very instrumental in the Buddha's path to awakening. And the 4th heavenly messenger was a renunciate, or a monastic that, well, not a monastic, a renunciate that had left the householder life and um, inspired the Buddha to do the same, in short. So a lot of folks in our lives, our family, our friends, and ourselves are living with chronic pain or with pain that's coming at times with different illnesses and etc. So you might want to check out Darlene's wonderful teachings. So in this article that's on that website, it's called The Only Way I Know to Eliminate Suffering. This is the title of this article from Darlene. And she shares how she had rheumatoid arthritis and very painful and crippling disease for 18 years, at the time of when this article was written anyways. Um, she says that she lived in this chronic pain. She describes it as a world of continual intrusive sensation. And this was when she was doing her Zen practice at Green Gulch Farm. And she says how it was very much in her self-interest to pay attention and to notice what circumstances either increased or decreased her pain. Anyone living with chronic pain is pretty much on that button. Like, what's making it worse? What's helping ease it? It's a constant exploration and curiosity and navigation and changing landscape, etc. And I was thinking about how this is the same, similar as those of us feeling and struggling with and suffering with mental pain. Um, as many of us are in this world that is on fire, in all ways, in with so much suffering, greed, hatred, and delusion. And we are all grieving deeply, um, and many are living in fear and living with this constant violence environmentally and socially, culturally, racially, systematically. And how this same thing that Darlene is talking about of it's very much in my self-interest to notice what circumstances increase my pain and what circumstances decrease my pain. This is very much the Dharma, of course. It's called dukkha and the ending of dukkha. And we want to pay attention to what increases my suffering, my stress, my physical, mental, emotional pain, and the pain, yeah. And what releases it, what ends it, what gives us these perhaps not permanent ending, nibbana, but times of sukha, of ease, of happiness, of absence, of dukkha. These are also present. And how much are we awake and aware with them? So this is something I think we're all doing when we're on this path, is paying attention to what's adding more fuel, or the second arrow, as you might know in the suttas, that we all experience pain as one being shot with a dart or an arrow. I can't remember. There's different suttas, dart one and an arrow one, but we'll just say with an arrow. So someone is shot with the arrow, which represents these human lives, which experience aging, sickness, death, loss, pain, not being able to keep what we want, not being able to get rid of what we don't want. We're not that much in control as we wish. And these are things that we experience in this human life. And the second dart, I think it uh, is when we it's our response to what's happening. So the life is arising in these ways that we likely don't have control over, but it's our response to it. What do we do with that is like adding a second dart to what already is. This is called dukkha dukkha. There's three different kinds of dukkha, and that one's called dukkha dukkha. Um, and so we really are on this path of noticing what's adding to my mental, physical, emotional pain, and what is supportive of it ending. So Darlene goes on to say how before she had this rheumatoid arthritis condition and diagnosis and chronic pain, she says she was practicing, she at that time practicing to notice. She had made a vow to notice all the times her posture changed, when she went from sitting to standing, or when she was laying down or walking. in the Dharma, there's these four postures that we're cultivating being awake and aware to all the time: sitting, standing, walking, and laying down, which means all the time. And so this was a practice she was undertaking. She says, on a Sunday, I would vow to notice all my postural changes, determined to say to myself when I went from sitting to standing to lying, now I'm standing, now I'm lying. And then she says, the next time I remembered on Thursday, perhaps, I would suddenly say, oh, yes, I'm standing. And she says how hard it was for her to maintain that awake awareness with that very simple practice, that, the habit would take over and that would just fall into the background. And she wasn't able to really maintain this. But then after she became so ill, she was then had a very strong motivation to observe these changes in her posture, because changing her posture became a dramatic event in her life. Just getting from the chair to standing to the washroom was a big undertaking, um, to her legs and feet, to go from sitting to standing, to get out of the bed, these kind of things. It took a lot of focus and attention. She describes it like going on a safari to get to the bathroom. And so that her being in that extreme pain really woke her up to paying attention to the body as it's changing postures and moving about. And wouldn't it be great if we could wake up without being in chronic pain? It's possible. It's possible. We could. And what does it take then to do that? An amount of energy and intention is required to just kind of have the like thought, oh, that's it, kind of a neat practice, maybe I'll try that, is not enough. To change the habits, the grooves in our conditioning does require a lot of vigor, a lot of like there's a whole thread of words that are often repeated in the suttas about being ardent and striving, diligent. What are the other words? Striving, ardent, diligent. That's the gist, but there's a couple more descriptors that are regularly repeated that we do have to kind of really up the intention in order to change the habits of mind into awake awareness. There's other ways that we can support ourselves in trying to be more continuity of awareness through the week. So having a sangha is very helpful. Having a teacher can be helpful. Having a Dharma buddy is very helpful. If you want to take this on, perhaps this week, I'm going to see. I have this intention to check this out, to notice what posture I'm in. It's quite doable, quite simple, to just make a mental note: standing, walking, sitting, reclining. Um, so if you could find a Dharma buddy, someone else that wants to try that for a week, and then like text each other, have a regular check-in. How's it going? What posture are you in? Just keep it up. Post-it notes are also great for yourself. Put them around. But it takes some effort to take this on without hopefully having to also be living in chronic pain. Now, Darlene shares a beautiful story that some of you may have heard, not a story, but her experience, where she lived about half a block from the San Francisco Zen Center, where she would practice, and they would have a dinner once a week that she would try to go to of Sangha. Wouldn't that be nice if we had a place? Um, so San Francisco, she has this condition at this time, and so she has to walk down this hill to get towards the Zen center, and then a flight of stairs. And sometimes she would get down the hill and then not have the capacity to get up the stairs and would then have to make her way back up the hill back to her home. Um, yeah, going up the steps were the second leg of a laborious journey, she says. And so after struggling with it in this way, but really wanting to be there in Sangha and community, of course. And so she asked herself, what is it about my walking that is so tiring? And she noticed that what she was calling walking, noting for herself as walking, was the part where her foot was touching the ground. You know, walking, 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 or step, 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 and was noting that part of the process. And that part of walking for someone in chronic pain is the part that is most painful. It was in her body, anyways, we'll just say. From the point of view of the joints, which were so inflamed, when the foot is touching the ground and holding that pressure, was the most painful part. So by the time she would get halfway, often it was already too much. So she shifted her attention to the part of walking where the foot was traveling through the air. And she never missed another Sangha meeting at that location. By turning her attention to noticing the steps, which are just moving through the air before it touches the ground, that part, there's always one foot that's lifting and moving, and paying attention to those sensations brought this lightness, this freedom from the pain of the contact part of the walking. And she noticed how her stamina increased enormously. And she says, I never failed to climb the steps and knock on the front door of the Zen Center after that. This is a beautiful teaching on wise attention and wise effort and uh, skillful cultivation to, just that slight shift of what are we attending to, and is it fueling more pain? Is it fueling more intrusive thoughts and intrusive sensations and more contraction, etc.? Really lovely. And I think applicable to all of us to notice if we're experiencing a lot of stress, suffering, pain, grief, all the flavors, what's adding to it? What's increasing it? What's fueling this being exacerbated? And a slight turn of the attention to the moments of ease in between, a slight shift towards the moments of, may I be peaceful, may you be well, may we be caring of each other. This is not denying what's happening. It's not spiritual bypassing. It's just turning our attention slightly into a skillfulness that can bring energy for us to continue this journey together. She continues this teaching by sharing how she started to search out the times when her brain was clumping things together, many separate little motions into an idea. which would prevent her from overcoming an obstacle. It's so good, and we do it all the time, clumping things together of who I am, how it's going to be, who they are, how this is, and in which then creates all this proliferation of just amalgamating and making an idea, making a solidity about something, framing something into something solid and permanent, which is not how it is. It's all flowing and interconnected and changing. But we can solidify clumping together. And how she found freedom by breaking it apart into its little aggregates, its little pieces of something that she needed to do, or whatever it is that we're trying to unpack. Um, she concentrated on breaking down these aggregates, meaning all the pieces that come together, the aggregates of ideas, into discrete units of smaller experiences that I could master. She says, sick or well, we all do this all the time. We get into the idea of something, the clump of it, the pile, the heap, rather than the actual experience. She was teaching, what kind of class was it? I think it was a group for, yeah, arthritic workshops that she was teaching at the Zendo for people with arthritis, or chronic pain. And she would pull out the cutting boards and the knives and the big bag of carrots. And immediately people would say, I can't cut carrots because of the pain in their hands, right? They just would say, I can't cut carrots with my arthritic hands. And she would teach them, just by holding the knife, feel the weight of the knife and the sharpness of the blade, the wooden handle, the sharp, solid blade, and you touch the vulnerable flesh of the carrot on the cutting board. Your wrist goes up and down, and the orange cylinders of carrot begin to pile up on the board. And you realize, I can cut carrots. She said tears would often come to the participants' eyes when they just break it down into, I'm just picking up this, I'm just holding this, I'm just moving it up and down, instead of this contracting around um, an idea. Yeah. Hmm. That's helpful for all of us, whether we're in chronic pain or not. Notice what we've made into something solid, and just one step at a time, one piece at a time. Can I do this? Can I do this? Yeah. Uh, Now, this is where she teaches about the title of this article, The Only Way I Know to Alleviate Suffering, she says. It's so good. Hmm. She says, our intelligence and dignity are developed for our being alive in for the mundane chaos of our lives. So good. The mundane chaos of our lives. Well, that fits, doesn't it? What's your life like? Mine's pretty much mundane chaos. And how this intelligence, this dignity, this our morality, our values, our intentions, our cultivation of wisdom and compassion is for this, the mundane chaos. Beautiful. She says, if we cultivate awareness of our actual experience, these little bits, the little aggregates, without reference to any preconceived ideas, then we won't we won't prefer any particular state of mind. If we stop clumping things into these hardened formulations of how something is, how I am, how you are, etc., and just meet what's right in front of us, what's here, then we're not fueling preference. It's just, oh, this is what's here right now. This is what's here right now. And we're not fueling our preference for a particular state of mind that we think is how it should be, how I want it to be. This intimacy, which is a beautiful word for awakening, intimacy with our activity, with the objects around us, with the beings, the life around us, is what connects us deeply to our lives. And here's her punchline: this connection to the earth, to our bodies, to our sense impressions, all that this way that we make connection with our world, this connection to our creative energies, to our feelings, and especially to each other, is the only way I know to alleviate suffering. Connection, intimacy with how it is, moment by moment by moment, without contracting into preconceived ideas. And how this synchronizes our hearts, minds, bodies with present moment awake awareness and brings this deep integrity and healing. I'll end with this. She says, we're much more apt to strive to feel special, uniquely talented, and particularly loved. This is our nature. We want to feel beyond the mundane and particularly loved and uniquely talented and special. And she says, it's extraordinary to be willing to live an ordinary life. It's extraordinary to be willing to live an ordinary life. This mundane chaos, intimacy. Extraordinarily ordinary. Wonderful. Oh, thank you, Darlene. Beautiful teachings. I encourage you to check her books and this website that has many articles, and I haven't watched the videos, but this short article is just 3.5 pages. Even in that 3.5 pages, there's another whole section that's most excellent. But I'm going to leave it there tonight. Wow, there's a lot in this little bit. I just think it's really full of beautiful wisdom and teaching. Yeah. So let's get ordinary. Yay! Let's practice. I'm gonna have some water. Get your mundane on. Mm. 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 Oh, now I'm sitting or or perhaps you're reclining, whatever posture you're in. Feel awareness shift and settle and filter down into, through, around, and permeate the whole body into the posture that you're in. Whether you're experiencing pain right now or not, hopefully being able to awaken to the body how it is right now. Taking time to guide yourself with kindness and care into just relaxing and softening and settling into this posture, letting go of any tension that isn't needed right now, giving some softness and space around any areas of pain or contraction in the mind, in the heart, in the body, in your energy. Inviting the breath to soften, like sand in an hourglass, letting awareness fill the feet and legs, hips, hands, arms and belly, chest, shoulders, neck and head. And in this world where we often experience continual intrusive sensations or continually intrusive thoughts, we want to get curious about what circumstances increase or decrease this pain. This help practice, it's helpful to choose an anchor, which gives us a ground, a template on which to see what's arising and passing. So if you already have an anchor you're working with, that's fine to continue there. If you don't, tonight you might choose an anchor of sensation in the body. Could be try to choose an area that's kind of neutral in terms of pain. So it could be the touch of your buttocks wherever they're resting, or hands or feet. Just choosing a place that's hopefully not experiencing a lot of pain sensation right now. And just get really curious about what that feels like. Paying attention to all the sensations that are there that are usually not paid attention to unless they're in pain. Lots of curiosity to the sensations in the area you've chosen, as if it's the first time you've felt this, just awakening in this body that has these sensations right now. We're cultivating awareness of our actual experience, our being alive for this perhaps mundane but also wondrous moment. Cultivating intimacy and connection. You notice that awareness has moved to other thoughts or experiences than your chosen anchor. See if the brain had clumped something together into an idea that it picked up about some future imagining, some past recreation, some present embellishment. And then just let that fall apart into all of its little aggregate parts and return to paying attention to your anchor here and now. This intimacy that connects us deeply to our lives. Darlene Cohen says that this connection to our bodies, to our sense stores, to our feelings, and to each other is the only way she knows to alleviate suffering. Awareness of these things without preference synchronizes body and mind with deep integrity and deep healing. Free from clumping things together into ideas and preconceived notions. We can see the actual nature of whatever is arising and passing, coming and going, impermanent, ephemeral, not me, not mine. Extraordinary to be willing to live an ordinary life, to be fully alive for the laundry, to be present for the dishes, to be awake to each other, this body and this moment. Life and death are of supreme importance. Time passes quickly and opportunity is lost. Let us awaken. Awaken. I will not squander my life. Thank you to those of you who practice with us on the YouTube channel. And please check the links down below for Darlene's books and the wonderful institute that's continuing her work, the sufferingandDelight.org. What a great title. Um, and they have groups and they offer, it's what we do, resources for people living with chronic pain and illness. And yeah, you can join them. Yeah, please check this site out. There's lots on here to explore. And thanks for being with us.